as you saw in the disclaimer there, this is kind of a touchy topic. Well, first off, let me just say this. I hope everyone is well. Everyone is staying safe. Everyone is healthy. It's been crazy out there. Um, it's been crazy out there for a few years now, actually. But yeah, I just hope everyone's doing well and trying to stay happy. Oh my goodness, I gotta turn the notifications off on this stupid thing. Um, so yeah, so as the disclaimer said, it's kind of a touchy subject. Some of you out there may have just recently lost someone. And so to those people, my thoughts are with you. It's just terrible out there, whether it's from the COVID virus or um, mass shooting or, someone off at war or whatever else it may be. Um, you know, these are some of the things that happen to everybody. That's the one thing that everyone has in common is that we all die. And I truly believe it is what we make of our lives. When we're alive, that's what means something. It's what I don't know. All right, look, I don't want, I don't want to get all, you know, bum everybody out or whatever. But um, I think this is something like super super important that everyone definitely needs to look into. Now, maybe you recently, um, had to set up arrangements for someone that just passed away. It could have been years ago, um, or you're definitely going to have to do it for someone eventually, um, but possibly even yourself, to plan ahead for these kind of things. So, uh, yeah. So if you're still watching this, I guess either you're not freaked out by the topic. I'm not going to get into graphic detail. I'm going to put some graphics up from a website, and this cool little thing I figured out. I was just trying to take um, screenshots of stuff to put on video here, and I saw this little function to make a QR code. So instead of me, I'll still type out the web address for the website, but all you need is a camera. You just hold it up to the QR code on the screen there. It'll bring you right to the page that I'm referring to. So yeah, so today we are going to talk about funerals, um, some of the preparations, um, some of the things that are involved, maybe some things to look out for. But most importantly, and that's why I put that in the disclaimer, is you need to do your own research. Um, the little bit I've done over the last probably uh, maybe about 2.5 years, and I'll be honest, I haven't set up anything yet. But I guess it's just because, it is kind of it's something that nobody wants to think about, nobody wants to talk about. Hold on, I gotta crack my back. Oh, I don't know if you guys heard that, but um, sitting in office chairs suck, and this has really been broken in. So, anyway, so yeah, I haven't done any of the things other than the research. I haven't done anything as far as filling out paperwork or going to an appointment at a funeral home or whatever. But so yeah, so if you're still watching this, maybe it's something that you're interested in. Um, and when I say interested, that doesn't mean that you find it fascinating, which is okay because there are people out there that, are morticians or they, work at a funeral home or, they do makeup, for uh, the people passed away and make them look decent, make them look as much like they're sleeping, and natural, I guess. So if you're into that kind of thing, that's great. Um, Nothing wrong with that. It's definitely a good business to get into. Um, but it's also a great business to scam people and to take advantage of people. And yeah, let me just take a breather here. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Now we're back. Um, so people are very vulnerable. Um, you know what? For instance, if something sudden, someone suddenly passes away, whether it's a car accident or whatever the case may be, maybe they were really really young and this wasn't something that was even a thought. Um, so you're kind of it happens and you deal with it, you try to work through it, and now it's time to figure out, okay, well, what did this person want? So you have to think, well, what would they want as far as flowers? What would they want as far as like, do they want a wake? Do they want, like an open casket? Now that could depend on how they look, whether you have an open casket or not. How many days you want the viewing to be. Uh, so many different things. What kind of casket to get, music to play, video montages, whatever. Um, so unless you know the person really well or they mention things to you, you're kind of left just holding the bag, I guess you could say. Um, so you go to you make an appointment, you go to a funeral home and they open up a binder and they show you all the packages. Um, and now I'm not saying all places are like this, but the bad ones, the ones, and you're not going to know unless you do the research yourself or if you just get a weird feeling or whatever. But, they have you, cuz it's not like buying a car where you could, shop around a little bit, you've done some research, you do some test drives, and unless you're, you know, in need of a car immediately, you have time. But if someone just passes away, you don't have a lot of time. You have to make these decisions, and it's super super expensive. I don't know of any that, maybe there are some that have finance plans or whatever, but it's super expensive. So, you go there, you're mourning, you're upset, you're whatever, and they open up a binder and here's the packages, and you see how much it costs, and some of them may make you feel like, hey, if you really truly loved this person, you would get this. And it's some titanium, casket with, I don't know, like some rare, endangered bird feathers or, it's, I don't, whatever it is. And it's, $20,000. Well, depending on who you are or what type of person you were when you were alive, you may or may not want something like that, I certainly don't want that. And toward the end of this video, I'll tell you what kind of like what I want. And I don't know if that's legal, putting it out there on the internet, that these are my wishes. I guess. I don't know. Like if something happened to me, like if I died right after, like so, like I'm up here on the third floor. Um, so after I film everything, and it is 1:11 in the morning right now on Saturday, April 17th. Um, if I like fell down the stairs, broke my neck, and died after filming this, oh, yeah, but then I'd have to post it and everything, which I don't do because I edit. I don't. Now I'm rambling on about stupid stuff. So okay. Um, yeah. So they have you in this predicament where you have to make decisions, and knowing ahead of time, and you don't always get that option. Maybe you're not thinking about it. Maybe I should, go online, do some research, make some phone calls first. Definitely do that. But once you get there, if you haven't done your research yet, you know, you're not going to know what legally you have to do. And, we'll get a little bit into that, as far as, do you need to embalm a body? Um, and from the little bit of research I did, and I'll pop it up on the screen in a few, uh, it looks like it depends on the amount of days that the person's been deceased. It depends on the condition of the body. It depends on if how many days it's going to be viewed. But in most cases, if it's something that's going to be like a quick thing, like they, die in the hospital, you know, they go to a morgue, which they're refrigerated, go to a funeral home, which they could possibly still be refrigerated. And if it's, over a weekend, you don't need to embalm. So if a funeral director tells you, well, it's a fill in the blank state law that we have to do this, it's not. I don't think there's any state, and if there is, it's one or two states in the United States that require you, excuse me, to embalm a body unless it's something where the person's been dead for a long time and you want to have this big funeral and it's going to be several days. But in most cases, from what I've seen, refrigeration is enough. But I think once they're in the casket, I don't think they can be refrigerated anymore. I don't know. I could be wrong. Again, let me reiterate, do your own research first. So I just, I've seen so many videos, and you can go right, you could pause this one or wait till it's done, or you could just stop it right here. Doesn't matter. Go on to YouTube right now and just type in undercover funeral home scams or whatever it is, this big exposés on a bunch of, random, well, maybe not random, but a bunch of funeral homes. Now, I don't know the whole criteria of it. I don't know exactly how many they visited versus how many were bad, or if they knew ahead of time that there were a bunch of kind of wonky ones, and so they just hit them. Not sure. I don't remember. But you could go on right now and look at them, and it's absolutely disgusting. What some of these people do. Um, now these are undercover people that haven't lost anyone, so they're okay. Their frame of mind is okay, and they're going in as a journalist. But you know, I can't imagine if that was my family member or if I had to go to this place for one of my family members, and knowing what I know now, I wouldn't. I'd just get out of there if I just felt weird about it. So I'm gonna start popping some stuff up on the screen, and so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I'm gonna mention the websites right now, and these were the best ones that I could find. Um, as far as a more overall, um, and so as far as for the country, because I mean, people are going to be well, maybe potentially viewing this from all over the world, but more than likely, whoever's watching this, you're probably in the United States. It's the Federal Trade Commission, and so I'm going to read it off. It's consumer.ftc.gov/articles/0300 hyphen FTC funeral rule. I'm going to also pop up if I haven't already, the little QR code. So just take your smartphone. Uh, you don't have to take a picture, but just open up your camera, hold it up. You'll see little brackets and you just kind of fit it in there. It'll bring you directly to this page that I have just popped up there. And the article is called the FTC Funeral Rule. And I'm not going to read it out to you. It's only a couple pages. But it's basically your rights. This is, federal. So if you want to just go through them, oops, I hit the wrong button there. Let me just open up the other page there because I have like little slides ready to go. There we go. That's the first one. All right. So as you can see, if you go down there, your rights under the funeral rule, you have, all the different bullet points. So, buy only the funeral arrangements you want, get price information over the telephone, get it in writing, an itemized list, when you visit, so on and so forth. And it's basically, if you can do this before you have to go and you run through, I think this is over a course of 3 different slides. Um, you can kind of go in there somewhat educated. So if they start to, force certain things on you, um, you could either kind of push back and say, hey, I don't think so. I don't think I have to do that. Or you just walk out of there. A lot of these places are, they work on commission, and they have to sell these packages. And I think it's ridiculous. I get it. As a business, I understand why they're doing it. But I don't know. I feel so bad for someone that is, in that situation. Someone just passed away. You're a mess. And now you have to deal with this. And forget the financial part of it, but just the fact that someone could potentially take advantage of you, make you, you know, feel guilty if you don't do certain things, um, or, whatever the case may be. Um, and I don't know. I just, it, it's tough because, like I said, I mean, I haven't set up any arrangements for myself. My wife hasn't. Um, but I think there's 3 different forms. If you go to like LegalZoom, it's power of attorney, living will, and I think there's like included like a DNR, which is a do not resuscitate. So like if you're, you know, on your way out and you have a heart attack, you can say, look, don't try to save me, just let me go. Um, having the living will, that is, what you basically just say, well, what do I want done to me? What do I want done with all my stuff? Who do I want it to go to? Um, now this you definitely have to check out because I cannot believe that this is the law, but check state to state as far as if you die and you don't have anyone to take care of your stuff, even though you may have like living relatives somewhere, but maybe you're just lost touch and you know, uh, I don't know, it's an estranged relationship where you're not talking for many, many years. Basically, all your stuff and everything you have just goes to the government. They take it. They just take it. So you have to write all this stuff down. So if you have bank accounts, make sure the account numbers are there and all the information's there. If you have a retirement fund or jewelry or gold bars or stacks of cash or whatever it is, you have to have it all in one place, a nice little um, stack of paperwork or even like a flash drive or a CD, whatever it is. Uh, and you got to have everything in writing. You can leave stuff to a charity. You can leave it to a cat, a dog, whatever. Um, if you leave something to an animal, then it usually goes to a caretaker of the animal. But basically, all the money goes to taking care of the animal. So, but that's something that you can do right now. I think it's only a couple $100, and that's I think for a couple. So if you're just one person, doesn't matter. You can change it, you can update it. So you could do that right now. And I haven't. I'll be honest, I haven't done it. It's just a weird. I don't know. I'm a procrastinator. I procrastinate. That's why I really tried to upload one video a week, and I haven't. And if you look at my views, they're terrible. But it's okay. This is a new thing I'm doing, so it's fine. Uh, so all right, it's been almost 24 minutes. So let me move on a little bit. So definitely check out this website. Go through. There's a bunch of different articles, a bunch of different tabs that you can focus on. But the other one I wanted to talk about, which is something that I had no idea until I stumbled on it, which is a green burial. So I'm gonna put the QR code up. Um, oh, this other thing too. So I'm gonna pop this up right now. This is the funeral pricing checklist. So now this is something you can print out. It can you make even says on the top you can make several copies. And you could bring this with you. So if you want to go to multiple funeral homes, it's just a place to write prices or take notes. Definitely something to check out. And the other thing too is if going in, you seem to be prepared already. They don't know how prepared or how unprepared you may be. So automatically, you're going in with a little bit more power than most people do. If you have like a little folder or a notebook and you're taking notes and you already have some things laid out, if they start telling you things, you can refer back to your notes, or even if you don't have that information, just look at it like, well, I don't know, and just see what happens. And I think for most part, I think people are um, good judges of character, or maybe not even that, but just like feeling, getting a vibe from somebody. Um, but because you're in a vulnerable state, you may not be able to really pick up on it. So yeah, so definitely check out this um, this little checklist thing. So the other thing is that I stumbled upon is green burial, and so that is something. And what it was is I her name is um Oh, I'm trying. I don't know. I can't. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I can't remember the name of the channel, but it's Caitlin Doughty. And I think if you just type in her name, you'll see it. Oh my goodness. I cannot remember her name, the name of the channel. I think it's like The Good Death or something like that. I could be way off, something like that. But I don't know why. I don't know how it popped up um, in my recommended, or whether I was maybe I heard something and I just searched for it. But Caitlin's channel is amazing, and I learned a ton from her. And so that's what got me onto the green burial, because of the embalming thing. It just seems like, and I don't want to get graphic or try to put pictures in people's heads, but the fact of like having to take all the liquids out of your body and then replace it with chemicals, it just didn't. I don't understand. Like I don't know why why. No, I do understand why we used to do it. Because when someone died in the Wild Wild West, and they were far from home, you wanted to get them home. If they were, when they were in the Civil War, or before, I don't know how long they've been embalming bodies, but I'm pretty sure they were doing it in the Civil War. Could be wrong. You can correct me and leave a comment. So they needed to last to get home so their family could have a proper memorial service for them. So, but you don't need to do that now. We have refrigeration, and if you go onto these websites and you start poking around, and even that one page, just that one page, it tells you a lot about whether a body needs to be embalmed or not, and what circumstances need to be where you have to. Um, I wanted to do something. I just didn't want to do that. And the fact that green burial is offered in most states, from what I saw, not every cemetery has it, because it has to be either a designated location of a cemetery where no bodies have been buried that were embalmed, or it has to be completely separate, where the entire cemetery is green. And basically, long story short, and you can go, there's like a PDF you can download. But maybe I'll pop up a few of the slides. And, it's basically just question and answer, going through a bunch of things. And they have a couple pictures. So if you don't want to see any, but nothing graphic, but just, obviously there's one of a cremation, but you don't see a body burning. You just see the fire and some ashes. And I think there was another picture on here of there's another picture there of, the body just wrapped. Basically, that you're either, you can't wear anything synthetic. So as long as you're wearing all cotton and everything is a natural blend of fabric, you can wear that, and they just wrap you in a shroud like a little mummy, but you don't look like a mummy, but it just looks like you got a sheet over you. And they put you in a wicker basket that everything just basically dissolves back along with you back into the earth. Now, if you don't have synthetic, or if you don't have any clothes that you can wear, then basically they just put you naked and wrap you up. So yeah. All right. So that's the green burial. Definitely look into it. That's something that I want to do. I told my wife it's something that I definitely want to do. I was like, if I can't wear a Guns N' Roses t-shirt, because it's got the plastic, decal on it, I said, that's fine. Just put me in naked, or just, white t-shirt and tighty whitey underwear. I don't care. You know, it doesn't matter to me. Neil deGrasse Tyson, he's an astrophysicist. If you don't know who he is, definitely go just type in on YouTube Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's an astrophysicist. He explains things in an amazing way that really, it helps you to understand it. Um, as much as you can understand astrophysics if you've never really heard about it or, you know, read about it or whatever. So he said something that, like a lot of people get cremated, and it's a good, I guess it's good for some people because it's cheap. Um, you get the ashes back in a little urn, so it's something that you can, put, on the fireplace mantle or whatever, whatever, or spread ashes, which you can't do in most places, but I guess you can get away with it. But basically, it's like you're kind of um, you're you're kind of wasting your energy, your stuff that you came from, that you were, made of, I guess. And so he said he wants to get put right back into the ground where he can just go, feed all the insects and feed the bacteria and all the other lower organisms and back into the soil, and it feeds the soil and things can grow from that soil. And what's interesting is that in the cemeteries that are strictly or the sections of the cemeteries are strictly green burial, you could, I mean, from what I've seen, now I could be wrong, but from what I've read, um, you can grow food after a certain amount of time. You can, grow crops or gardens and and eat from whatever comes out of the ground there. You can't do that from a cemetery, where people were embalmed and you have all like plastics and metals and things that, you can't do that. So, a lot of places, because you can't put like a headstone, it's like some kind of plaque that's usually native to that area. So whether it's, just a rock that they, engrave or, chip out or, something natural, that's basically all you get. But what they can do is they can grow a tree that basically comes from you. You're actually uh, um, giving the tree nutrients so it grows. So it's actually growing from you. You are the food for that tree. And I just think there's just something really, really awesome about that. Now, that might creep a lot of people out. They don't want to think about decaying into nothingness, but why do you care? No one's going to see you, you know? you know? It I don't know. It's just something to me. Like I think of death very differently than a lot of people. So now I don't know. Maybe I would feel differently if it happened to somebody else. Like when someone really, really close to me dies, like I may feel differently. But like way deep down, what I truly feel is that it's definitely so much worse for the people that are still living, So the way I look at it is that now, I don't know, I guess it depends on what you believe as far as if you go to another place, another plane of existence, or if it's just blackness or whether it's just nothingness, like where you don't know, you don't, you just not there. And you just don't know you're not there because you're nowhere, I guess. You know what I mean? Right. But if you believe that you go somewhere, hopefully it's a better place. Um, depending on the religion that you may believe in, that, you go to certain places and you have certain things that are nice, Um, so I mean, I like to believe that I just go to a different place and it's nice there and I can, talk to the animals and they can talk back to me and I can see all the people that I've always wanted to meet and always wanted to hang out with. And I can go back and see the people that, I used to hang out with, and before I died, and whatever. Well, when they died, then they'll come back, and I could see them, and and there's no poverty, there's no homelessness, there's no sickness, there's no pain, there's no nothing. It's just everybody gets along. There's no hate, no mass shootings, no pandemics, no politics, no mainstream media, you know? So yeah, I mean, not that you should, not that you should necessarily celebrate death, but it doesn't have to be this horrible, painful, depressing thing. It is, I guess, whatever you make of it. That's why I told my wife, I was like, I don't want anyone to be sad. I don't want anyone to be crying. I want, like, if they're doing like video montages, I want it to be funny. I want people to laugh. I want, you know, people to remember me that way, that I did something that made them laugh or whatever. I don't want people to be sad, because I'm hoping that I'm going to be good wherever I am. I'm hoping that I'm going to be living it up somewhere and, whatever. Like, I don't know. But I don't know. So, yeah, but I guess that's about it. So, yeah, I mean, and the thing is, this shouldn't be news to anybody. This shouldn't be shocking that this stuff happens. I mean, any business that's trying to make money, they're going to do whatever they can to make money. But this is a different kind of thing. This is a whole other kind of evil. To take someone in such a vulnerable place in their life, um, that needs to make a decision quickly. And, so you just have to know what you're getting into before this happens, because you're going to wish you did. You're going to wish that you went online and you printed out a PDF, and you're going to, read some articles, take some notes, look at the state laws or the town or the county, whatever the case may be, and do things in advance. Like, make sure you tell your family what you want, what your wishes are. If you don't want to be on a feeding tube on life support, if all the doctors are saying there's absolutely no hope, then if you don't want to be like that, if you don't want to exist like that and just be in this shell of you, and who knows? Nobody knows what's actually going on to the person, that's in a coma or whatever, or that's, on life support. Nobody really knows what they're going through. It could be horrible or it could be awesome. Maybe they're like, but how can you know? So there's a lot of people who are like, I don't want to do that. I don't want, my family to see me like that for years and years and years, So although there was that kid that, well, he wasn't a kid, but I think he was in his 20s, and he was in a coma for like over a decade. I mean, he was 15, maybe 20 years. And he just woke up one day and he was fine. Look at that. That would suck. Like if after, a few, maybe a few months, and you sign that paperwork and you told your family, like, look, if, the doctors say that's it, there's not, much help for me, then, just pull that plug and let me go. But wouldn't that suck if, like, a week later you would have woke up? Oh, man. So, but yeah, set these things up ahead of time. You can pay for these things ahead of time. If you want to apply, if you want to be buried, you can pay for the plot. So that's, there. Like, unless no one can buy that. I mean, well, you could sell it, but like the place can't, the cemetery can't sell it to anybody else. Well, I guess they could. I don't know, whatever. Because they do stack people. Oh my God, that's a whole other thing. Which is why I don't want to be buried in a casket. Because when if you, well, I don't know. Maybe you could just keep stacking people on the green burial too. I don't know. There's so much information. Like I can't even retain it all. It was crazy. Like over the last few days, I was just going over this, um, going over the slides and stuff again, rereading, and it was like, and every time I reread it, I'm like, oh, I didn't remember reading that before. So there's so much information. Check with local laws and set this thing up ahead of time. Fill out your paperwork, go to LegalZoom, or if you have a lawyer or whatever, just research it, find out, what forms you need for a will, um, and power of attorney. So if you need the power of attorney, so in case you're incapacitated, whether that you can't wake up, or you have Alzheimer's and you can't think straight, you don't know where you are, who you are, that sort of thing. If you're unable to sign a document, if you're unable to see a document, you designate this person as your power of attorney so they can make all those legal decisions for you. So that's what you need that for. But you need all these things in conjunction in order to, if something happens to you, God forbid, suddenly, if you don't have all of this set up, it's very, very difficult for your family to make these kind of decisions. So do yourself a favor, do your family a favor, and yeah, you got to set this stuff up. And I'm telling all you guys this, but yet I haven't done it yet. So I'm gonna do it. You guys should do it too. So I hope I didn't bum anybody out. I'm sorry that this was a little longer than I anticipated. But check out those slides. Again, go back if you want to just see them again, or just go to the website. And yeah, so I hope you guys are doing well. Be good to each other. Don't get schemed. And I will see you on the next episode. All right. Bye, everybody.